Hello. Hello, hi, it is me, it is I. Small town TD, your hiding these where internet and akastraha and bakalau yala, having coffee and it's hot. Like I already feel hot. Guys, these fast fashion fabrics, I mean, obviously they're synthetic fibers, they don't breathe. Like even if something looks like it's supposed to be like airy and light, don't does not breathe. Does not breathe. I am literally not okay. Then I've got all of this hair. Put it back, I'll breathe. Uh, but am I still cute? Man, am I still cute? Perhaps, perhaps. I don't know if we're gonna do one long hot topics or we're gonna chop it up. I'll see how long I stay on this particular topic. Drip. The footwear brand Drip, it was announced earlier in the week that it's all come to a halt and they are liquidating. It's been there in the papers. The whisperings have been there. His wife recently went on to Madam Speaker's podcast, and I covered that a little bit. I love the way she conducted the interview. Basically, just let her, let it out and didn't do all that interrupting and stuff. She's doing great with that. So Drip was we saw last week a video of the stores. We've seen over the a video from one of the stores where things were taken out, like railings and things like that. And then we also saw earlier in the year or since last year that some locations, some physical stores had been closing and stuff. I mean, I understand the sentiment to say, serves them right, especially after that interview with his wife in terms of like, serves him right. But like when you think about the bigger picture, the real consequences that involve people who were employed by this company that was what it seems from the outside looking in mismanaged. Business is tricky, you guys. It's hard to make it work. The retail space is especially harder to make work. I've always been like, obviously, like Nyedi to him, like Sweeney in a personal capacity, but I can't get away from the bigger picture of it all. Um, the people who are at the factories making these tackies, the people who are in the store side, it's not a good day for them as well. In as much as like we're focused like on this individual, this figurehead that was like the face of this brand and stuff, and he was seeming to be really flashy and all of those things. But who isn't? Who comes into money? It's how the demon functions, if you would like. So I've been doing my little business for years now. And before like reels and short form video content were a thing and we were relying on stills, like stills was still the thing and Instagram was still the main platform and things like that. I would get people come collect their orders from my home, and some of them would make remarks, right? Would make little comments like, "Oh, I thought you had a store. Oh, you're still working from home." Or first of all, I don't know who the fuck had led them to believe that shit, but like there's still this need even in this here like fourth industrial revolution of like the dawn of e-commerce and all of that nice stuff that have made it such that we don't need a brick and mortar kind of store. We don't need a physical kind of store. There's this need to still say you at least have like a one storefront or a flagship of sort, like things along those lines. This obsession around that thing, because then that makes you legit. That means you're successful. That's communicating something. And you know what? We live in a world where the aesthetics of things and those things, in as much as they such like a remnant of like yesteryear for me, they still matter to some people, that it's a physical store and all of those things. When you're selling one product like this, and I'm seeing something else. There's this girl who makes these head wraps. They're gorgeous, the ones with the rope and stuff. I've figured out like how I can make them. But like I'm not saying do that, go support the girl. And I see that she's recently added some dresses to them. When she first opened the physical store, I remember sending the link to one of my friends, like, is this girl opening a store to sell one product? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it has she really opened a store to sell one product? Because I don't get it. And at the same time, I get it. With Drip, I was seeing this expansion, even with Batu, but like, you're selling a tacky. It's not fucking bread, right? It's people. I'm not buying that sneaker every day. It's not a consumable like that. Like, I don't understand why you need to have so many locations to sell tackies. I understand maybe you want to have a physical location and then be online and really push using the advantage that we now have in today's age of social media to push that brand and create that hype around it, create that exclusivity around it, create that high end feel about it, and want like push people to want to have this brand, go online and buy it. And yes, I know the argument that everybody does not have this access to technology, but if Shein and the Tamus of the world have our retail industry at its fucking knees, clearly there are enough people online or enough people shopping online. So I don't really understand like the this idea of expanding by having one too many physical stores where you're selling one kind of product and people are still complaining about the quality of that product doesn't make sense to me. I understand that if you went the route of trying to get your product in an established store and have your tacky sit next to a well-known, more traditional sportswear brand, your Nikes, Adidas, Pumas, if you were trying to do that, you would bypass a lot of things in terms of like having to like deal with running so many physical like stores, but you would also make less, your margin would be much less because the retailer, the AFCON, whomever, would also require their percentage. But perhaps then you would stay in business longer. You would just need to push more units. I mean, if the idea is to compete with a Nike, compete with a Nike then, right? Get Sarisha on the line, like Nonku did, and get her to get you in there to figure out how you can get yourself in these distribution spaces. He was big enough, or the brand was big enough at some point for me, and I don't know what happened behind the scenes, for them to opt that route versus the route of we're just gonna open our own stores and have this drip store, and all that's in the store is some fucking tackies. Maybe there are other items, but like, I mean, people weren't really, half the time you see him wearing a drip shoe with like a Gucci something. So the footwear brand was still very much that. And it takes a while to develop quality products. So even if you were trying to, in the long run, go into making athleisure or like other athletic kind of wear tracksuits and things like that, and you're saying you're competing with the more established brands, it was going to take time. Like that product development was going to take time for you to come to us with a product that we want to buy and a tracksuit that we can wear for years and years and years, like we have with these other brands. So you would need room to work there, meaning having all of these stores was not going to allow you to do that. I didn't get it, guys. Like, I really feel like, and I think people were warning him, if I remember correctly. People were saying that, you know what, maybe this is not the thing. But because our definition of success is still so narrowed, I believe, like wanting to say, I have so many stores open and we've employed so many people. Mind you, these people are saying they haven't been paid for a little bit before the company. And this is like the nature of things, right? When, you know, the ship is going down, there's tellings there. And for months, people aren't getting their salaries as promised, or their salaries are coming in late, or this is happening and that is happening and things like that. So you can't even brag about having employed X number of people when you have so many disgruntled, like like it doesn't. I don't understand the obsession with this. And more is more is more is what will ultimately kill a brand. Giants, retail giants, there are acquisitions happening all around us right now. As a superbalist who just bought Take a Lot, do you understand what's happening there? Now here comes little you, right, in an industry that's already scramming about for space, trying to compete with the fast fashion that is the Tamus and the Sheins, and then you think you're gonna try to like work with them and try to get into every mall in the country, and it's gonna work. I mean, there were probably days where tackies weren't being sold, like not a pair. And in that instance, the people in the store, the anxiety must have been crazy when they knew that we're going under. It doesn't work. And bigger is not necessarily better. I know it's hard for some people to comprehend this, but I've had to go back to the drawing table in the last 2 years and say, what do I want this business to be? And I've been trying to steer it for a while now when my mentor is on lock into wanting it to be such an exclusive boutique experience because the work is high end and the work is bespoke that I do. If you are luxury and you are high end, you don't need to try and get into every corner of earth and try to have people purchase your thing. We don't have a Gucci store at the mall where I'm at. People still have to like pour petrol in their cars and go to Gauteng if it is that they're trying to get like the so-called real thing, whatever that means. So I just feel like that's what happened with the boy. You know, him, I don't really feel bad for him and he's like him, but I also feel like businesses fail and it's normal. It's normal. You know, businesses get built up to this big thing and they collapse and people start over, and on their fifth brand, that's the thing that lasts generations. Maybe didn't have to come to it with this brand because it had so much support, so much fanfare from the public, that it is rather disappointing that this is where it ended up. And perhaps honestly, if there was a different person heading up the ship, maybe it wouldn't have sunk. I really do believe that. I think a lot of it does boil down to leadership. Unless he had relinquished a lot of that and he was just the face, and there were more experienced people in the back trying to make those decisions, they too weren't making the right decisions. Or maybe when they came on, he had fucked up so much already. But hey, you know, now Real and stuff. Well, Real, you know, he built up a really big brand at some point, or they did at some point. But that's my take on drip. Mwah. I think it's bye. Bye, Ella.